He's getting his 1,000th career hit. He's robbing a home run in left center, throwing the guy out at first. It has become stellar, and we've used this expression a lot. We don't mean this being on radio, but it is the truth. You're at a loss for words.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen. I'm your host, Brian McKeon. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a free 3-week trial on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on whichever podcasting platform you prefer and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Like the video and hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. Lots to talk about. I'm going to put into perspective in the second segment what this Aaron Judge season really means. I know we know that he's been great and he's been historic and he's been everything that you could possibly imagine. But I want to really put into perspective and throw some history into it because it really is amazing when you get to see the numbers of how good he's been. But first, let's preview the second game of the National Series, and let's get into what just happened in Game 1. Nestor Cortes was really good again, and we haven't seen this kind of performance from him. He's been really spotty as of late. ERA now under 4 at 3.89. He's had really 2 consecutive really, really solid starts. Went 6 2/3 with 4 hits, 1 run, 5 Ks, and 2 walks. Really was stellar. And again, we've said this after every Cortes good start lately. Take it with a grain of salt because it's against the bad baseball team, but the Nationals are better than the teams that they've seen lately. And the Yankees were able to handle them, dominate them, and play the way they needed to play against them. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't everything that you needed out of the offense, but you know what? Scored 5 runs, got through the game. It was another win. They're now they're playing at a really solid pace right now. And you get another win on a day. The Orioles lost yesterday. The Orioles lost the day before. You start to build some ground and you start to get some distance between the Orioles. It's what you're going to need this year. And we've discussed it 100 times. This is not going to be an easy stretch on the way out. Now, August has been easy for them, but August is over. And I get in September where your schedule gets a lot more difficult and you have a pivotal series against the Orioles at the end of this month. And that's not going to be easy, right? They're not going to let up. And it's going to be you're going to have to stay focused, put out your best starting pitchers, and really make sure that you hold down this division. Because like we've said, the entire American League is young going forward. And a lot of these teams are built on starting pitching. And what are the 2 things that struggle a lot when you're in hostile environments on the road? Starting pitchers and youth. You're not prepared for those kind of environments. You're not prepared to play in crowds that size and trash talking at that level. The Yankees have the tops of that in pretty much all of sports. Utilize it. It means that home field is going to mean a lot for them. And you're going to have to go out. You're going to have to make a statement. You're going to have to finish off strong. The importance of going into the postseason on a run, playing hot, is so much. You want to get some of your hitters really starting to get on a groove now, right? You want to get Gleyber Torres going. Had another home run in this game. Right? Aaron Judge making stellar plays in center field. It's amazing. On nights that he doesn't hit home runs, he's getting his 1,000th career hit. He's robbing a home run in left center, throwing the guy out at first. It has become stellar, and we've used this expression a lot. We don't mean this being on radio, but it is the truth. You're at a loss for words. And I wonder what you guys think when you talk to your relatives or at your local pub. What do you say to your buddies? How many times can you say, this guy's amazing? How many times can you say he's having an incredible season? Does it ever get lost? Because every single time I think about it, it's more and more becoming the greatest season of an athlete I've ever seen. There's nothing like this that we've ever seen. I've been intrigued to know from our older fans, and we haven't gotten any responses that are telling us. Is this like Mickey Mantle? Is it the same thing? Is this what it was like watching those guys play? Is this Mantle Maris? Is it the same thing with Soto and Judge? I know no one that listens to our show is alive, but go back in the history books. Is it Ruth Gehrig? because it's almost like there's no comparison. Really is incredible. This game, another really solid game for the Yankees. Nestor Cortes, again, really solid pitching performance. You saw some other good performances out of the bullpen tonight, which I want to get to. Leiter struggling again, though, and that's a concern to me because I really liked this trade when it was made. Really loved it. Leiter again struggled 2/3 of an inning, 1 hit, an earned run on the home run. ERA now 4.72 for a guy that's really stone cold. I love the way that he doesn't feel pressure. Really loved the trade when it came in, and when he started out with the Yankees, I loved it. And for some reason, it's gone downhill since. Right, has not been able to pitch well, has not been able to be effective with them. It's really been a concern of mine, legitimately, because I think he's going to be a major piece. You question whether he's going to make the playoff roster or not, because of the other guys in this bullpen. You've seen a guy like Jake Cousins who went 2/3 of an inning tonight. Looked great. 1.80 ERA. Looked solid all year. Great movement on his slider. Clay Holmes had a solid outing tonight. You need your bullpen to come into form. We've said the two things mostly throughout this run, right? They need their bullpen to come into form, and they need their starting rotation. And it seems like they've started to figure out the starting rotation. I mean, Garrett Cole, you're going to see him later on in the series, has been elite. Really, in the last couple of starts, it looks like he's rounding into form. He's been great. Carlos Rodon, last couple starts, has appeared to figure things out. That is crucial. You don't know who your third starter is going to be, but you're getting Clark Schmidt back. You're getting pieces, reinforcements out of the minors back. You need that. They're going to go as far as the starting pitching takes them, like any baseball team in the postseason. Yes, Judge and Soto are going to have their performances. We know that. But they're not going to win a World Series with just the two of them performing. They're not. They're going to need the pitching. So, bullpen pieces, yes, Nestor being good is key, but I don't think Nestor's going to get himself a playoff start. It's going to take a lot at this point to get Nestor a playoff start. But your bullpen pieces are huge. Your bullpen pieces performing are a major, major deal. You need that. You're not going to win series without your bullpen performing, especially in today's game. Alex Verdugo, 3 hits. That was a big night. You had a hit from DJ LeMahieu. Chisholm with a home run. Another home run out of Chisholm, who has been a really key move of the deadline, where a lot of Yankee fans were kind of left with a little bit of a sour taste in their mouth following the deadline. Chisholm has proven to be an awesome deadline move. He's fit in perfectly. He's playing a really solid third base. I don't know what the injury was, because we heard partially torn UCL. We all are predisposed to think that means you're done. Predisposed to think season over, surgery, whatever it means. And for some reason, Chisholm, it looks like, hasn't been effective at all. He spent 1 IL stint out for a week and a half, and that was it. Comes back, hitting home runs, making nice plays. He needs surgery in the offseason, wonderful. But you need him playing in the postseason. It lengthens your lineup. That's going to be key too. You're going to need production in numbers 5 through 9 in your lineup. You just are. That's why Dominguez coming up is going to be massive for them. You're not going to win playoff games without being able to get a few runs from the guys you don't expect them to. It's a perfect analogy with hockey, right? The teams that win a lot of games in the regular season, your first line, your second line, Panarin, Zibanejad, Kreider, if you're a Ranger fan, those guys are scoring all the goals, getting all the points in the regular season. Those guys will get you to the postseason. The teams that win Stanley Cups, the teams that win World Series, are the teams whose third and fourth line, grinded out players, are the ones who are contributing, are the ones who are making plays, are the ones who are getting goals for you. The Philip Hedels of the world, the Alexei Lafrenieres of the world. That's what wins you Stanley Cups. For baseball, it's those 5 through 9 hitters. The Gleyber Torreses, the LeMahieux, the Chisholms, the Volpes. That's what'll win you a championship. Judge and Soto are going to do their thing. You're not going to win whether they perform. If they don't perform, you're not going to win regardless. You need them to perform. but you can't expect every game to be won on the backs of those guys. You need production out of your depth. That's why it's so important. The Yankees have the capability of getting that. It's just about getting it on a consistent basis. Starting in a little over a month from now. It's almost here. It really is crazy. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button on our videos and hit the notifications so that you know when our videos go up. Also reply to the pinned comment on our videos Monday to Thursday if you want your questions answered for Fan Mail Friday. Or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description, and you'll get texts from me and Stacy, and you can text us questions anytime you want. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up next, we're going to put Judge's season into a little more perspective. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Now we have something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a free 3-week trial of NFL Sunday from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every single regular season Sunday afternoon at a market game. All you'll need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Guys, Week 1 is right around the corner. College football starts later this Saturday, right? Everything's starting. Premier League is back. You can get football futures in. You're just there. Still can get future markets in, right? Super Bowl bets, over-under win totals, player productions. Everything imaginable is on the table, and you can bet all of it, and you should bet all of it at FanDuel.com. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com/lockedon, and you can download America's #1 sportsbook. Welcome back, and thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, enjoy the Locked On MLB podcast. Host Paul Sullivan, a.k.a. Sully, is here for you daily to provide national expertise with his trademark humor to help you get ready for the MLB playoffs. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it all covered every single day on Locked On MLB. It's available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And don't forget that you can catch every pitch of the Yankees' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. All right, guys, so I want to put Aaron Judge's season into a little bit more of a historical perspective, and I've mentioned this in the last few shows, and I think it bears truth. We don't appreciate it enough. And it's not an insult to anybody out there that's listening as a Yankee fan. It's more of just a sports fan comment, right? No one appreciates history as much, but we have to take into account what Aaron Judge is doing this year because it's on a historical level that we literally in our lives haven't seen. Now, I don't know how many people that are listening to the show are over the age of 90. If you are, that's awesome. Congrats. But also, if you are under the age of 90, which I'm assuming is a large portion of our listenership, you have never seen a performance like this on a baseball diamond before. Allow me to explain. Judge is hitting .333 at 51 home runs and 122 RBIs this year. An insane 1.202 OPS. To put that into perspective, league average this year is around 680. He's just 1.202. That's absurd. He became the 5th player in Major League history with 3+ 50 home run seasons. Just the 5th player in history. Judge is the first guy to do that in 3 of his first 9 seasons. And if you really take into account, he would have had a 4th year if he stayed healthy in the last year in the toe year. Well on pace for 50 home runs. He's on pace this year for 101 extra base hits and 418 total bases. Now, a player has only recorded 100 extra base hits, 15 times in history. That's only happened 15 times. If you remember a few years ago, people had a big deal about the Altuve season when Altuve had 70 extra base hits. Judge is going to hit 100. Only 15 players in history have done that. Want it to get a little crazier? Only 29 times in history has someone had 400 total bases in a season. And the craziest stat of all, it's happened 4 times in the last 76 years. So like I said, unless you're above the age of 90, you pretty much have never seen this before. 4 times in 76 years has a guy had 400 bases. Think about that. The Yankees in their history have 11 50-plus home run hitters in a season. 11 times. Judge has 3 of those seasons. Last year, in 106 games, Judge had 37 home runs, meaning he would have got to 52. So you'd have a 4th season. So we need to keep going on. We shall. Over the past 103 games, Judge is hitting .377 with a .506 on-base percentage with 47 home runs. No one in the history of Major League Baseball has had an on-base percentage with that home run production and that high of a batting average in the history of baseball. In the history of baseball, no one's done that over a 100-game stretch. Let's also mention, since his historic 62 season 2 years ago, Judge's strikeout rate is down and his walk rate is up. That year, he won the MVP. Think about that for a second. Put that into your own perspective for a second. Think about what you thought of Aaron Judge that year. Broke Roger Maris's record that seemed unbreakable. Clean player who broke the record. All of these records he set. And the complaint everybody had about him back then was he just strikes out a little too much. He's cut down on that. He walks more. Again, the paces he's on. He's on pace to break it. 400 total bases. That's happened 4 times in the last 76 years. You're talking about one of the greatest individual seasons ever played. Not by a Yankee, not by a guy on your team, ever played. Judge has 136 strikeouts this season. He has 107 walks. This is a guy that used to not walk a lot and strike out a ton. He's projected for 63 homers, 150 RBIs, and 167 walks. This is a guy who used to religiously strike out 200 times a year. He's completely cut down on all of it. On pace for 37 doubles, 189 base hits. You don't see those kind of numbers anymore. He's about 12 average points behind Bobby Witt Jr. I want to see if it changed tonight. If you see me looking at my phone. Bobby Witt Jr. after tonight is hitting .347, Judge .333. It's going to be hard to catch him. But he's still very much a contender for the Triple Crown. He's got 51 homers. The next guy behind him is Ohtani with 41. The next American League player is Anthony Santander with 38. He's not going to catch him. RBIs, no one's even close. Jose Ramirez is 104. Judge is 122. There's a really solid chance that Aaron Judge can win the Triple Crown. He has put together one of the all-time great seasons. I can't wait to see where his numbers are at the end of this year. He's already locked up the American League MVP again. We've heard that question a million times now. If it worked like football, if it worked like basketball, and there was just a league MVP, who would get it? Easily, Aaron Judge. Not even close. Not even remotely close. No one in the league has done this in 100 years. It's been that impressive. I can give you all these stats. I can give you all these segments. I can give you all this. And yet I never have words. Never have an explanation for what he's doing. It's all-time great level. We'll preview the rest of the Nationals series on the other side. Still not an easy series. Really isn't. The Nationals are a competitive team. Are they one of the best teams in the league? No. But they're competitive and they're tough. We'll get to that and much more on the other side. But coming up, the rest of the Nats series. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of up to 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. You need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free TradeMaster program. Every TradeMaster gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/TM for TradeMaster and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. Welcome back to Locked On Yankees. Remember that you can catch every pitch of the Yankees' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. Guys, remaining series against the Nationals, not a team that you should really take lightly. They are a competitive team. They are better than the worst teams in all of baseball. You're seeing debuts from young players all over. Nationals are a fun team to watch. Juan Soto's old team, obviously. A team that once, by the way, offered Juan Soto a 15-year contract, which at the time wasn't that crazy because they wanted Juan Soto to spend the rest of his career in D.C. And I just want to bring up the number that he was offered because it's going to put into perspective what you guys think the Yankees should sign Juan Soto for. Because people wanted Juan Soto to sign with the Nationals. People thought he was going to sign with the Nationals. People thought he was going to stay. And now there's no chance that he stays. And he was offered a 15-year, $440 million contract. That's what the Nationals offered him. And he turned it down. And it was the right move. Because now he's probably going to get about 10 years, 12 years, something like that. In excess of $500 to $550 million. And I think he could hit 6. I mean, he's had that good of a year this year. He's an all-time great player. Possibly a Hall of Famer if he retired today. He's going to get paid. The Nationals tried to pay him. And it obviously didn't work out. Turning down a deal that lucrative. Now 3 years ago. Wild stuff. The game later on today against the Nationals, it'll be another 6:45 p.m. start. Garrett Cole will be starting for the Yankees, 5-2 with a 3.72 ERA. Listen, Garrett Cole's been terrific. He's figured things out the last couple of starts. He's really gotten himself into a groove. I would expect him to dominate the Nationals, and he's going to go up against a former guy that every Yankee fan wanted to be pitching for the Yankees, right? Patrick Corbin, 3-12 with a 5.73 ERA. Those numbers are gaudy. They're terrible. It really is wild what Patrick Corbin has become. Because that free agent season, every single Yankee fan wanted him. And remember how many people called Hal Steinbrenner cheap for not signing Patrick Corbin. Brian Cashman, cheap for not being able to land that prized free agent. The Nationals overpaid for him. The Yankees were perfectly fine and willing to say, peace out. We're not paying you that much. And look what it worked out to. Patrick Corbin, yes, the Nationals won a World Series with him. That needs to be noted. But other than that, he's been terrible since that deal was signed. Awful for the Washington Nationals. So next time you give Brian Cashman flack for not signing this guy, not paying for this guy, not overspending for this guy, make sure you don't speak out of both sides of your mouth. Because sometimes when a team has a number and they're not willing to go over that number, it's for a good reason. And clearly this was for a good reason. Because a Patrick Corbin signing would have been a disaster. Game 3 of the series, it'll be another 6:45 start. It'll be Rodon, who's 14-8 with a 4.16 ERA. He'll go up against another prized prospect, top overall pick, Mackenzie Gore, 7-11 with a 4.51 ERA, seeing 2 more lefties remaining in the series. The Yankees have struggled against lefties, so it'll be intriguing to see how they'll go up against these guys. Really is Fascinating with where the Nationals are, right? Really good farm system, trying to build something against the Yankee team that needs to collect wins. The Baltimore Orioles are chasing them. They're right up their backs. And the Yankees can't afford to drop games to teams that they should be beating. The Orioles are now 2 whole games behind the Yankees. The Yankees get 2 more games against the Nationals, and the Orioles, starting on Tuesday night, get 3 games against the Dodgers in LA. Certainly not easy. And then they get 3 games against the Rockies, who are also not easy to beat in Colorado. Now, they're not a great team, but not easy to beat in Colorado. Then they get let up a little bit with the White Sox. But you got to go ahead and win these games. Take advantage of these spots. Right? Baltimore, you got to think is going to, you hope, lose 2 out of 3 to LA. But at minimum, they're going to lose 1 of these games. Go out there and sweep Washington. This was the game, as a Yankee fan, you should have been concerned about, right? The concern game should have been the Nestor Cortes start. You got through that one. What's left now? Cole and Rodon. Your 2 best pitchers. Your 1 and 2. Your 2 aces. Go out there, be the aces that you are. You could very easily, going into Friday, going into the weekend, going into the off day on Thursday, the Yankees could realistically have a 4-game lead on this series. And think about what you could do with that. For 10 p.m. start, the Orioles got to see Jack Flaherty, who, listen, I didn't think he was the prize move the Yankees should have traded Spencer Jones for. Has still been terrific with the Dodgers. 10-5 with a solid 3 ERA the entire year, but has been stellar since he got to the Dodgers. Orioles are massive underdogs in that game. The game after that, they get Corbin Burns, with the Dodgers have Walker Buehler going. If you look at starting matchups, the Yankees could very realistically have a 4-game lead on this series going into your off day on Thursday. Good teams do that. Take advantage of the spot that you put yourself in. You can't afford to only have a 2-game lead going into your off day. You have to go into that Baltimore series at the end of the next month with a couple of game lead. Don't let the Orioles sweep you and take the lead in the division. I can't reiterate it enough, and I'm going to keep saying it over the next month. The division is so crucial for this team. For the rest of the American League being so young, built on a lot of pitching, you need your starting pitching. But starting pitching falls apart in rocky road environments. Think about the rest of the teams in Major League Baseball. Think about the teams in the American League the Yankees will go up against. Who has a better home field than the Yankees? Minnesota, Cleveland, Kansas City, Baltimore. Who is it? The only one I can think of is Houston that competes. Everybody else, not as hectic as the Bronx. That is huge. They have more talent, and they're in a better position than everyone in the American League. This is the year to go do it. Got to take advantage of the teams that you play on your schedule that aren't as good. That's the only way you're going to be able to do this. And listen, if you're a World Series contender, you win these games. You just do. One more time, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. I want to thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen. Now, go check out the Locked On MLB podcast. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it all covered every single day. You can find Locked On MLB in the description, so you don't even need to search at all. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. That'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Brian McKeon, and Stacy will see you guys tomorrow.